मध्यं न हि करचरणं नाम गोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो नानपुंसं न च स्त्री नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं परिशिष्टां ते वसदशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय यतगेशान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घभवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरं। मातामहौ मातरं च पितरं च पितामहौ मातुलं च गुरून् सर्वान् वन्देऽहं ज्ञानसिद्धये। वामे भूमिसुता पुरश्च हनुमान् पश्चात् सुमित्रासुतः शत्रुघ्नो भरतश्च पार्श्वतयोर्वायवादिकोणेषु च सुग्रीवश्च विभीषणश्च युवराट् तारासुतो जाम्बवान् मध्ये वीरसरोजको मदरुचिं रामं भजे श्यामलम्। सीतारामगुणग्रामपुण्यारण्यविहारिणौ वन्दे विशुद्धविज्ञानौ कवीश्वरौ। जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम। अद्यास्मिन् अतिप्रकृष्टे मुहूर्ते श्वः मध्याह्ने जायमाने राममन्दिरस्य रामलल्ला इत्याख्यस्य मूर्तेः प्राणप्रतिष्ठापनमुहूर्ते वयम् अत्र मिलिताः रामस्य गुणगानं कर्तुं तस्य अनुभवं कर्तुं। We have all gathered here to immerse ourselves in the ocean of Rama's gunas. The Ramayana, being the Adikavya, Maharshi Valmiki, from the beginning to the end, he talks mainly about the gunas of Rama. He is immersed in those qualities of Sri Ramachandra Prabhu. Whichever kanda, whichever character you take, they all are somehow interested and they're attracted and they're enamored. And there is some divine pull there, which is the qualities of Rama. That is why the Kavya itself begins with Valmiki questioning about the qualities. He does not begin by saying that Rama is an avatar Purusha. He does not begin by saying that Rama is just someone who came to do Dharma Sthapana. He talks about qualities that have to be inculcated by every person in this world. That is why Rama has this epithet of being the Maryada Purushottama. There are so many avatars of Mahavishnu. Bhagavata says, Asankhyeya hi avataraha. There are unlimited avatars of Bhagavan. But only this avatara has the title of Maryada Purushottama. As we all know, Valmiki began his questions to Narada listing down 16 qualities that he wanted to find in a person. And Narada replies that all these qualities can be found and even more can be found. So that is how the Kavya itself starts. So the Valmiki Ramayana itself is a story of Rama Guna. What we have come here for today is Rama Guna Anubhavam. The Srimad Valmiki Ramayana itself is Rama Guna Anubhavam. Sri Tudasidasa Goswami, who wrote the same Ramayana in Avadhi, at the beginning of every Kanda, he also writes a verse in Sanskrita. A couple of verses or a few verses. He writes his Mangalacharanas in Sanskrita. There at the beginning, in his Mangalacharana, he says, Sita Rama Gunagrama Punyaranya Viharino Vande Vishuddha Vijnano Kavishwara Kapishwaro. He also looks at Ramayana as a group of gunas of Sita and Rama. Sita Rama Gunagrama. And who are the people who are playing in that grama? In that forest of gunas, there is not one tree. One guna means you can say one tree. There is just a forest of gunas, he says. You go, there is such a beautiful trees everywhere. Everywhere such beautiful gunas to be found of Rama. There are two people who are always within these forests, says Tulasidasa. Kavishwara Kapishwara. One is Kavishwara Maharishi Valmiki. The other is Kapishwara Bhaktottama Hanuman. These two are always in this forest of gunas of Rama. So that is how he begins his Ramacharita Manas. There are so many other poets who wrote their kavyas of Rama. For example, Bhavabhuti, in his Uttara Ramacharita, he says, I cannot find a hero greater than Rama. Valmiki already has the perfect hero. So I am not going to try to create a different hero and write a story about someone else. If there is a previous hero, either whatever I write should be greater than that, or it should at least equal that. I am unable to create a bigger hero, to create a better hero. And the equal to Rama is only Rama. So I will write about Rama, says Bhavabhuti. Similarly, another poet, he says, Swasuktinam Patram Raghukula Tilakam Ekam Kalayata Kavinam Kodoshaha Satu Gunagananam Avagunaha. Other poet, while beginning his kavya, he says, I am going to say a few words about some personality. For that, to be the patra for that, I can only choose Raghukula Tilaka. Ekam Kalayatam. That is the only person I can choose. You cannot fault the poets for this, because every poet is choosing that the same hero. This is not the fault of the poets. It is the fault of the qualities of Rama himself. It is a paradoxical statement he makes, that those qualities of Rama in themselves have a fault, that all the qualities have gone to the same person. Satu Gunagananam Avagunaha. So therefore I am also unable to create another hero. I will again talk only about Raghukula Tilaka. He says, and he writes his kavya there. We all know Valmiki Maharishi's questions to Narada, and he listed out 16 gunas. Narada said, not only these 16 gunas, there are far many more, and he lists close to 70 gunas of Rama. Tayyuktaha Shruyatam Naraha Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha Ramo Nama Janishrutaha Niyatatma Mahaviryaha Dyutiman Dhatiman Vashi. And he goes on listing like this. Among that list, from Narada's perspective of Rama, the first person to give a huge list of gunas, Narada is telling to Valmiki, Samassamavibhaktangaha Snigdhavarnah Pratapavan. Rama is Samassamavibhaktangaha. His beauty is unmatched. Not only internal qualities, even when you just look at him, Valmiki also used this pada Dyutiman. When all these wonderful qualities are there in a person, there is that inner tejas within them, that ojas and tejas. Vishnu Sahasranama says, ojas tejodyatidharaha. Both ojas and tejas are just effulgent. That luster within Rama is just natural for him because of all those qualities. And his external appearance is also so handsome. All the Samudrika Lakshanas are there. That is what he means by saying Samaha Samavibhaktangaha. Each part of the body measures as it is supposed to. It is all proportionate to each other. And therefore, when you look at him, he just captures your heart completely. Samavibhaktangaha. And in so many qualities that Narada recites, he says, Kalagri sadrisha krodhe kshamaya prithvi samaha. Rama, his krodha that is there is equivalent to Kalagri. Kalagri is that fire that comes at the end of the Pralaya. During Pralaya, the fire that comes is called Kalagri. When Rama has that krodha, it is equivalent to that Agni. Immediately the next guna he says, Kshamaya Prithvi Samaha. When he has that quality of forbearance and forgiveness, he is equivalent to the earth. The earth, Prithvi, forgives all that we do. How much ever we dig, whatever we construct, how much ever we mine, or we drill and bore wells, she is always forgiving. Prakriti is like that. Rama is like that. Kshamaya Prithvi Samaha. The same, Narada recites this guna because Valmiki had asked him, Jitakrodha, who has won over anger? Rama is some person who has won over anger. For all of us, anger has won over us. Whenever we get angry, we have no control of ourselves. What do we say to some person when we get angry? I don't know what I will do if I get angry. If you get angry, you should know what you should do. That is when anger becomes a channel. You should be able to channelize the power that comes from the anger, and the anger should be at the right place. Sthana krodhaha. Hanuman also, he looks through this lens and he says, Rama has sthana krodhaha praharta cha. He knows when he should get angry and when he should take it back. And same Valmiki, when Rama is fighting against Khara and Dushana and many other Rakshasas also, he says, Krodha maharayati vram. That is, Rama, the anger is at his beck and call. When he wants to call anger, he calls upon it because he has to fight against the Asuras. And when he says it is enough, my job is done, the anger goes away. Whereas for all the other mortal beings, we are under the control of anger, which is why he is Purushottama. Sthana krodha praharta cha kalagri sadrisha krodhe. If anger is under your control, then when you do get anger, when you do get angry, even the gods will be frightened. Bhitaha, even devas are frightened when he gets angry. So that is how that anger shows itself. Kalagri sadrisha krodhe kshamaya prithvi samaha. Such is the ocean of Rama Gunaganas that Sri Sundara Kumar, who is a great exponent of Ramayana, he says, this ocean of Rama Gunas is a saltless ocean, and by dipping in this ocean, we will come out of the ocean of samsara itself. Such is this ocean of Rama Gunas. So from Narada's perspective, there are so many gunas. Again, when Vishwamitra, who is known to be a rishi, who is very Gambhira Swabhava, he takes care of his own self and he has done so much tapas. People are frightened of him. From a Kshatriya, he has become a Brahmana, especially through his penance. He also, when he meets Rama, when he wants to get Rama, he himself comes to Dasharatha. He comes to Dasharatha and asks for Rama. He says, give me Rama. And he tells Dasharatha, Aham vedmi mahatmanam Ramam satya parakramam. I know what a Mahatma Rama is. If Vishwamitra has to term Rama as Mahatma, then you should understand that Guna within Rama. And Rama is just 12 years old then. By that time, all the rishis and sages, they want to have a piece of him. That is their attraction towards Purushottama Rama. Aham vedvi Mahatman. Later, after all the talk between Dasharatha and Vishwamitra takes Rama and he walks fast away from Ayodhya, as if he is just leading them. He does not even turn back and look at Rama and Lakshmana. He crosses the Sarayu river, and after that he takes a stop. Then at that time he just turns back, and all that love, he was just controlling. He did not want to turn back and show the softness of his heart. He wants to maintain that image in front of all the residents of Ayodhya. So once he crosses the Sarayu river, he turns back and he looks at Rama and he says, Rameti madhuram vanim vishvavitrobhya bhashata. He beautifully calls out that madhuram vani. And he calls out itself that love is shown in his voice, that love just comes out. Abhyabhashata says. So even great tapasvis like Vishwamitra, who are completely detached from the world, and they have their own ashrama, they do not care for anything else. They are attracted towards Rama. Just because of his gunas, they are attracted towards him. And later Vishwamitra takes them to Janakapuri. Then Janaka looks at Rama. First time he is seeing Rama and Lakshmana. As soon as he sees them, what is his expression? Imo kumaro bhadraante devatulya parakramo gajasimha gati viro shardula vrishabhopamo. Imo kumaro. These two young princes that you have bought, O sage Vishwamitra, who are they? He wants to ask. But he just says, Bhadraante. Oh, he is almost at a loss for words. That Janakaraja, who is called Videha, because he does not have this body. He is such a jnani that he does not have any sense of bodiness. He has lost all his ahankara and he is in that Brahma sthiti always. He is asking, looking at Rama and Lakshmana, these two children that you have brought with you, may you be great, he says. May everything good happen to you. There is no continuity in what he is speaking. He is at a loss, he does not know what he is speaking. Imo kumaro bhadraante, he says. How are they? Devatulya parakramo. As soon as he looks at them, he knows they have immense valor within them. That valor which can match the divinity of the Devas, that is the kind of valor they have. Just by their gait, walking and coming, is like a lion and an elephant. The gambhirya that is there in an elephant, when it just walks, you are stunned by the walk of an elephant. You are just in the same place. Gajasimha gati viro shardula vrishabhopamo. Their built body is just like a tiger and a bull. Such supple arms that they have. He is enamored by that. Janaka is overcome by love towards them. That is the love that Rama just exudes from himself. Sarvabhuta priyaha, says Valmiki. He is just loved by everyone. There is nobody who cannot love Rama. Such is the gunas that he exhibits. Valmiki, after the whole of Balakanda is over, again, at the beginning of Ayodhya Kanda, he is not able to contain himself. He himself wants to talk completely about Ramagunas. So the first sarga of Valmiki Ramayana, of Ayodhya Kanda, he again starts a list. Because he wants to get everything out. He wants to tell everything about Rama. So Valmiki himself, he goes on a rampage of gunas here. We will just be able to see a touch. We are skimming to the top of the ocean of Ramagunas. So what Valmiki says is, Kausalya shushubhetena putrena mita tejasa yathavarena devanam aditihi vajrapanina. At the Janma of Rama, in the 18th Sarga of Balakanda, when Rama was born, Valmiki used the same verse, the exact same verse. And that in Ayodhya Kanda, he is still using the same verse. So Mahan Upanyasa Chakravarti Anantarama Dikshitar, he used to say, a Mahakavi usually never uses the same verse again unless there is a slight subtle change in meaning. He uses the exact same verse when Rama was born, and he uses the same verse in the first sarga of Ayodhya Kanda after Rama has been married. So what he wants to mean, Valmiki, is when any child is born to a mother, the mother is extremely happy. Kausalya Shushubhetena. He is so happy after a long time of being without progeny. A young child is born to her, and he is the eldest son. So she is extremely happy. How happy is she? Just like Mother Aditi was happy when Indra himself was born. That is the happiness that Kausalya is feeling when Sri Rama was born. But why does he repeat the same verse at the beginning of Ayodhya Kanda? A lot of children, when they grow up, when they are born, everybody gives happiness to their mothers. But slowly when they grow up, all their other gunas come out. And then the mother might not be as happy as she was when the young child was born. And especially after he is married, he will probably be taking care of his wife rather than taking care of his mother. But by repeating the same verse, Valmiki is showing that his mother was at the same state of happiness as she was when Sri Rama was born. That is the greatness that Rama has always maintained, that gunas, he is able to give his mother the same happiness from the day of his birth till today. Kausalya Shushubhetena Putrena Amita Tejasa Yathavarena Devanam Aditihi Vajrapadina, says Valmiki. And as he goes on listing, he says, Kathanchidupakarena Kritenaikena Tushyati Nasmaratyapakarana Shatamapi Atmavattaya. This is one of the greatest qualities that all of us have to inculcate. All of Rama Guna Gunas are for us mortals to inculcate. They are not something just written there for us to read and enjoy. It is for each of us, the sadhakas, to inculcate within ourselves. Anybody who's on the spiritual path, who wants to improve adhyatmika, on the path of adhyatma, they have to inculcate each of these gunas to the extent that is possible by them. That is why he is the Maryada. When you say a Purushottama, Maryada means respectful. In Sanskrit, it also means the limit. He is the limit of all these gunas. He is the ideal that is there before us. When you have an ideal, you have always striving to achieve that ideal again and again and again. So all these gunas are for us to achieve that ideal of us. That is why Narayana Bhattatri, in his Narayaniam, the whole of Ramayana has been condensed in 20 verses. In the last verse he says, this avatara of yours is especially to teach the mortals how they should be living. Soyam martyavataraha tavakhalu vihitaha martya shiksharthamevam. This is how mortals should be, should lead their life in this world, to teach them that path. That is why you took this whole avatara itself. Rama avatara is to teach us how we should be living in this world. And that is why each of these gunas is for us to inculcate. And each one of them should be embossed on a gold plate. It is like when people say in front of a workbench or wherever you study, you should have some nice quotes which you keep looking upon them. And each of these gunas is something like that, that you have to keep it in front of you. Kathanchidupakarena kritena ekena tushyati. If some person has somehow helped him probably directly or even indirectly, they just happened to be there and it was their own kartavya and they helped him in some way. Kathanchit. Somehow they came about to help him. That was not even their intention. And if they have done it even a single time, he is extremely pleased by that and satisfied by that. And he always remembers that person. Kritena ekena tushyati nasmarati apakarana. And he does not remember their faults. If they have done something against him, he does not remember that at all. How does he not remember that? Even 100 faults are not remembered. Shatamapi. If we ourselves commit mistakes against somebody else, we will never remember. But if we help someone else, we will keep remembering that again and again. We will probably remind that person also. See, I helped you that day like this. This is how we would remind some other person. But Rama is exact opposite. Shatamapi atmavattaya nasmarati. As if those faults have been performed by him, he does not remember them. If somebody else has faulted against him, he does not remember them at all. But if they have done a small upakara to him, he is so happy because of that, and he keeps remembering that again and again and again. Kathanchid upakarena kritenikena tushyati nasmaratyapakaranam shatamapi atmavattaya. Buddhiman madhurabhashi purvabhashi priyambadaha. Extremely intelligent Rama, and when he speaks to someone else, he knows how to speak. If it is an elderly person, he will speak with that kind of respect. If it is a young person, he will feel so that they also feel that they are worthy. And same with his friends. Madhurabhashi, his words itself are filled with nectar. Purvabhashi, if he knows someone, or even if he is in a place where he does not know the person, he will first go and introduce himself. He will not think, I am a prince of Ayodhya. I did not go and introduce something. Let them come and talk to me. He will not be like that. He will go and introduce himself, and he will start the conversation. Purvabhashi is extremely important. For those people who have authority and who are in positions of responsibility, you have to be a Purvabhashi. You have to be able to initiate conversations, meaningful conversations. And at the same time, you have to be Priyamvadaha. You have to speak in a pleasant manner. The other person should not be offended by you. Buddhiman madhurabhashi purvabhashi priyamvadaha. Another extremely excellent guna. Uchyamano piparusham nottaram pratipadyate. Even if somebody speaks something which is like an insult to him, which is very hard to hear, and he feels hurt, even then he will not reply. Parusham uchyamanaha api, because that is the point where you are at your weakest. Your ego has been hurt, and immediately you will be in a fit of anger. If it is an elderly person, you might not be able to show your anger. If it is a younger or equivalent person, you will show your anger. Or it will even trouble you in multiple ways. But what does he do? Nottaram pratipadyate. He just does not reply. He just digests the whole thing within himself. Uchyamano piparusham nottaram pratipadyate. These are the beautiful gunas. Each one of them is a gem that we have to engrave within ourselves. So this is how Valmiki's perspective of Rama. Next, the people, he is going to be coronated as the king, and all of them are extremely happy. As soon as Dasharatha announces in the Sabha that he wants to crown Rama as the Yuvaraja, all the people there are in one voice, they want him as the king. Ichhamohi mahabahum raghuviram mahabalam gajena mahatayantam ramam chhatravritananam. That is the connect that he has with people. We want to see him. Ichhamaha, we all desire to see that great Mahabahu, one with the strong arms. Raghuviram Mahabalam. How do we want to see him? He should be coming on top of the elephant across our streets, across the streets of Ayodhya. He should be placed upon an elephant, and the umbrella which is on top of his head, it should be covering his face halfway through so that the sunlight doesn't fall upon him. Ramam Chhatravritananam. See that imagination. They want to see their king like that. And that is the love that they all have, an outpouring for Rama. Why? Because he has that connect with every person in Ayodhya. He has been so pleasant and so pleasing towards them that each one of them feels that he is their own family member. Whenever he comes around, they feel that connect towards him. Even the young children feel like that. Bala abhikridamanaha grihadvareshu sanghashaha ramabhisheka sanjuktaha chakrureva mithakathaha. During Rama Abhisheka, these young kids on the streets, they are playing just outside their houses in the verandas. One is playing with the other. And when this news of Abhisheka goes about, even the young kids are talking about the Abhisheka of Rama. Because they also want Rama, they also love Rama like that. They are also talking about Abhisheka. Young kids would not be interested in the administrative politics of kingdoms, but Rama has connected even with them. So that is why they are also talking. Mitha kathaha, whatever babbling or rambling that children do within themselves, they are talking about Rama and his Abhisheka only, even that rambling. Probably I will be there during the Abhisheka, I will go there, sit on Rama's lap and I will play with Rama. Such is the talking that is going between themselves. Bala api kridamanaha grihadvareshu sanghashaha Ramabhisheka sanyuktaha chakrureva vitah kathaha. So all the people, the subjects of Ayodhya are also looking forward to him being crowned as the king. Later, because of Kaikeyi's words and Manthara's instigation, Kaikeyi asks the two boons and Rama goes off to the forest. Before he goes, he goes to his mother Kausalya and he shares this news that he has been banished to the forest and he is going to leave that very day. Kausalya is inconsolable. She weeps a lot. She tries to persuade him from not going, or at least take her along. And that she has been waiting for him to be crowned king for so long. And it is an extreme hard hit to her. But after all the conversations between themselves, when she knows inside the deepest of her recesses that whatever decision that Rama takes, he will not go back against that. Dridhav Vrataha, says Valmiki, in the first set of gunas itself. Once he has decided upon something, he will surely take it to its end conclusion. That is what Dridhav Vrata means. Now he has decided that he is going to go to the forest. Kausalya knows she is not going to be able to stop him. And she knows the cause for his decision also. It is not a random decision that has been taken. It is to keep the vow of his father intact. The promise that his father has given, to keep it intact, he has taken this decision. And that is why that extremely tough decision. The previous night he was going to be crowned the king and whole night they have been awake doing all the Pratacharya to be crowned as the king the next morning. And next morning he hears that he has been banished to the forest for 14 years. And still he holds that same calmness. That time, Kausalya says, when he is about to leave, she gives him an Ashirvada, and it is an Ashirvada that brings tears to your eyes. Yampalayasi dharman tvam dhritya cha niyamena cha savairagava shardula dharmastvam abhirakshato. That dharma, O Rama, which you are protecting, Yam palayasi dharmam tvam. How are you protecting that dharma? With dhriti, with that steadfastness that you are protecting. Niyamena cha, discipline, that I will not move away from this dharma, that beautiful dharma that you are having. May that dharma be your protection. Savaira khavashadula dharmastvam abhirakshatu. If a mother has to be telling this to her own child, then see how much that Rama, that sthairya within Rama should be there, that she knows in her deepest of hearts that Rama will never go against dharma. This is the same thing that Maricha is going to echo. Ramo vigrahavan dharmaha sadhu satya parakramaha. An opponent like Maricha knows that Rama is an embodiment of dharma. Ramo vigrahavan dharmaha sadhu satya parakramaha. So that is the embodiment of dharma, means that is Rama. Or Rama is not an embodiment of dharma. Dharma has embodied itself in the form of Rama. Ramo vigrahavan dharmaha. That is Maricha's perspective, and Kausalya's wonderful perspective that is like this. Then, once he has gone to the forest, later Bharata returns back and Bharata wants to bring him back from the forest. Bharata goes to Chitrakuta with all his army. He goes there in the long Bharata-Rama Samvada, which is filled with gems from Dharma. At one point he says, after he does not know what to do. Rama, that is where in 16 verses, Rama talks about how this whole world is temporary and how we just come across each other and it is all extremely temporary, transient nature of the world. After Rama has told him, Bharata tells him, Rama, I cannot be like you. You are in that great state, but I am not like you. Valmiki in the first list again he says, Atmavan Kojita Krodha. The word Atmavan means one who is a jnani, one who has realized that the self is Atmavan. Atmanam Janati iti Atmavan. He has realized his own self. How do we know that? In very few places Valmiki lets that secret out, and few others, characters, give us that indication. Bharata says here, Natvam pravyatayed dukham pritirva na praharshayet. This dukha, you have been banished from your kingdom. You are bereft of all the wealth that you should have been having. But even in this forest, this dukha is not causing you any grief. It should have been a dukkha, but it is not causing you any grief at all. Natvam pravyatayed dukham pritirvana praharshayet. Even a great amount of love or preeti shown towards you will not bring you to extreme happiness. You will not start jumping with joy or with elation. You are always in that samasthiti, O Rama. I cannot be like you. You are like Maharshis themselves. That this is an exact sthiti of a jnani. Natvam pravyatayed dukham pritirvana praharshayet. And Bharata says one more verse. This verse is like a compendium of the whole Vedanta in a single verse. If you probably take the whole of the Yoga Vasishtha and keep it on one side of the weighing scale, and if you take this one single verse and keep it on the other side, this verse will tell you all about Rama. Yatha mritas tatha jivan yatha sati tatha sati yasyisha buddhila bhasyat paridapyeta kena saha. Yatha mritaha tatha jivan. Just like a dead person would be, that is how you are when you are alive. Bharata says this to Rama. That means it is an it is a detailing, it is an explanation of the previous verse. Natvam pravyatayed dukham. A dead body is not going to, whatever, whether it will be Shita or Ushna, it will be cold or warmth or Sukha or Dukha, nothing is going to do anything to that. So, you are just like that. But the only difference is that is not Sat, you are Sat. Tatha yatha sati tatha sati. Yatha asati tatha sati. Even in that asat, however, that is there, that is how you are. So you are the jnana swarupa, you are, O Rama. I cannot be like that, says Bharata. I am a young kid, you please protect me. And that is how he prays to Rama and falls at his feet. Yasisha buddhi labhasyate. Prajna, when Arjuna asks Krishna, that Lakshana is there here. Yatha mritas tatha jivan yatha sati tatha sati yasisha buddhi labhasyate paridapyeta kena saha. He says. Similarly, from the perspective of Sita, again, Sita, she indicates every now and then how much she loves Rama and for what she loves Rama. In a later point, she says, when to Hanuman in Sundarakanda, she says, when he was banished to the forest and Kaikeyi had asked for these two boons, Sita says to Hanuman, first he gave up the kingdom from his heart and then he told, yes, I will go to the forest. Manasa samparityajya vacha parigrihitavan, she says. First, from his heart, with his whole heart, he had given up the attachment towards the kingdom. After that, from his mouth came out the words that I will go to the forest. So in an instant, it was a complete detachment towards that. That can happen only when that vairagya is there in a complete manner in a person. And she also reports to Hanuman and Anasuya also that in the Antapura of Dasharatha there are a lot of women who are there. But Rama is only devoted to me. Whenever he looks upon another woman, immediately he looks at her like his own Kausalya mother. Just like how he behaves with his own mother, he behaves with all other ladies in the Antapura. Sita herself is giving a stamp of authority to Rama, that of his Ekadara Vratatva. So that is the perspective of Sita from there. Then Rama's own perspective. We should see Rama's own words in Ramayana and find out his dhairya in the path of Dharma. In the context when Bharata requested him to come back, Rama says, Lakshmi's Chandra Lapeyadva Himavan va himam tyajet Atiyat sagaro velam na pratignyam aham pituhu. I will not move away from the promise that my father has made. How? The Chandra, the moon itself might lose its luster. It might take a break from its luster and it might not have a luster anymore. Lakshmihi Chandradaveyadva. The snow might abandon Himalayas altogether. Himavanva himam tyajet. The ocean itself might cross its boundaries and come onto the land. Atiyatu sagaro velam. Even if these three things happen, I will not go against the promise that I made to my father and the promise that my father has made. Na pratignyam aham pituhu. Such is his dridhavrata, that satyatva that is there. And this is the quality of the kings in Raghuvamsha. Satyaya vidabhashinam, says Kalidasa in his Raghuvamsha. They do not talk much because they have to speak only Satya. This is a wonderful guna, because we all keep talking a lot. As soon as something comes, we are interested, we start speaking a lot. When you speak a lot itself, by mistake, without your own knowledge, you start speaking untruth. That which might not be exactly factual. Or you start giving promises that you cannot keep. So such things might happen. So what is the quality of Raghuvamshis? Satyaya mitabhashinam. They keep their talk to a minimum so that they always speak only the truth and nothing else. And to Kaikeyi, he says, when Kaikeyi says you have to go away from here, he shows that inner detachment that he has towards her. He says, Nahamarthavaro Devi Lokama Vastu Mutsahe Vidhimam Rishibhistulyam Vimalam Dharmamashritam Kevalam Dharmamashritam. There are two pathas. Naham Arthaparo Devi. I have no interest in these possessions. I have no interest in this wealth. I am not towards them. If you had asked me to rule, I would rule for the sake of the subjects. I would be the servant of the subjects. I am not their ruler. So aham arthaparaha naham arthaparo devi lokam avastu mutsahe vidhimam rishibhistulyam. You understand that I am equal to the rishis. Don't think that I am like any other king who is running after the wealth. I am not like that. I am not running after power. Vidhimam rishibhistulyam. Why rishibhitulyam? Vimalam dharmamashritam. Because I want to follow that dharma, that pure dharma that is there. I am always behind that. Kevalam dharmamashritam. Dharma is my only surrender. I take shelter only in dharma, nowhere else. Kevalam dharmamashritam. That dharma rupa Bhagawan Rama, when he is crowned as the king in Ayodhya, which is going to happen tomorrow, what do all the prajas do? From the perspective of the prajas, it is a great rejoicement. As we can see across the whole of Bharatavarsha, not only in Bharatavarsha, across the Jagat, we are all in that ocean of Rama Guna Gana today, and tomorrow we will be at an even higher emotional Guna, which is what all the prajas, and that day when Rama was crowned as the king, they are all feeling Ramo Ramo Rama iti prajanama bhavan kathaha Rama bhutam jagadbhut Rame rajyam prashasati. Seems like Valmiki is not having enough of talking about Rama again and again. and he puts those words in the mouths of all the subjects who are exactly doing that. Ramo, Ramo, Ramayiti. Everywhere, even today, tomorrow, Rama is going to be crowned with his PranPratishtha. Everywhere we see there is Ramayana Parayana, Ramacharitamanasa Parayana, bhajans on Ram on streets, there is so much decoration. It is almost like we are living through those days when Rama was crowned as a king. It's like descriptions of Valmiki is coming true on our streets, not only in Ayodhya but across the cities of Bharatavarsha. Everywhere we see that devotional outpouring, and that is how the subjects of Rama were there even that day. Prajanam abhavan kathaha Ramabhutam Jagadabhut. The whole world had become Ramamaya. There's nothing other than Rama that was there. And let that Rama, who is currently there in our thoughts, let him always be there in our thoughts. Rame Rajyam Prashasati. During Rama Rajya, this is what everyone was talking. And we have also got Rama Rajya after 500 years. We have the Rama temple again. We have also the Rama Rajya has begun. So let us all again be talking about Rama himself as those subjects in Ayodhya were doing. Ramo, Ramo, Ramayiti, Prajanam Bhavan Kathaha, Ramabhutam Jagadabhut, Rame Rajyam Prashasati. With the anugraha of all the acharyas, of all the sampradayas, especially with all this unnecessary politics going on, that some acharyas, the Shankaracharyas, are not for the Pratisthana. It is all just politics. For the sake of attention, people are doing. The Ubhaya Jagadgurus of Sringeri, from the beginning they have been with this movement, and with all their Ashirvada, we are doing the Rama Guna Anubhavam now. That Anubhava itself is all because of the Guru Anugraha that we have. We are able to immerse ourselves in these oceans of Gunas of Rama, and let us not give ourselves towards those words. Let us stay away from anything. Let us focus on Bhakti. All of us should focus on our Bhakti towards Rama, towards Sri Ramachandra Prabhu, towards Sri Ram Lalla, who is going to be crowned there, who is going to have the Pratishtha there tomorrow morning. Let us all, in this fervor of devotion, let us surrender to that Atma Rama Prabhu, who is the Lord of the universe. He has always been, since the day he was crowned as a king, he is the king in Bharatavarsha. There is no doubt about that. It has always been Ramarajya, and that Ramarajya may it continue again and again. May we all have that blessings of Sri Ramachandra Prabhu, and may we all immerse ourselves in his Gunagana, and may we all inculcate some of his Gunas and progress on our path of sadhana and adhyatma. Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jaya Jaya Rama Rama.